Group 2 then, we have obviously the other 6. We have Rathnure and the Rapparees. We have Oilgate and Ferns, and the other 2, Ed, are
Shells
and St Martin's, of course, which takes place here on Tuesday night. So what way do you think it's going to go?
Yeah, well, I'm sure everyone in St Martin's breathed a huge sigh of relief with the news that Rory O'Connor is not going to be out for the year. He was a key player for them, and the Martins are missing so many through emigration and injury and everything, and the retirement of Kieran Ling, who's a top class hurler over the last 15 years.
And just on that, for anyone who isn't familiar with who the Martins are going to be missing, would you have any?
Yeah, well, sure. Joe O'Connor
details?
and the two Cantwells are missing, and Ben Maddock and Ben Stafford and players like that. And I think Willie Devrick's Aaron Maddock, of course, is away as well. So they're missing quality players, But the Martins have a lot of talent. I was just jotting down, just for a bit of purpose, I was jotting down who might be likely to play, and by God, they still have a strong 15. I can assure you, there's no passengers on that 15, even despite the fact that they're probably missing 8 or 9 players, which is a lot for any club.
So, Des, what are your initial thoughts on the group as a whole then?
Yeah, look at the Martins and the Shells probably are the two, along with the Rapparees are probably the strongest in that. There's not a lot being said about the Rapparees, and just the more I was, when you said we were doing the preview, I think the Raps are in a good position. They won the county final, they did nothing in the league, but their 15 is probably one of the strongest 15s. And they're playing a sweeper, you know what I mean. So teams playing against them are not used to it, so they have an advantage straight away that it's their system that's in place. But look at it all, as I said, with Rory O'Connor, the Martins would be. Couldn't see the Martins winning. They'd be struggling to win 2 or 3 games without Rory O'Connor. With the lads that are missing, he's vital. He's seemingly not playing on Tuesday night, so. Again, it's tight. I think the Shells have the strongest panel in the championship, and that's where, come quarter, if they get to the quarter final, semi final, they're going to have a big say. So I just, it's about injuries and stuff like that. But at the minute, you'd be thinking the Shells and the Martins are probably the strongest.
And Ed, we saw last week here Rathnure winning the league. They've been quite consistent in the championship in the last 4 or 5 years. They've made a lot of quarterfinals, but haven't really kicked on. Do you think this could be the year, or are they still a little bit short?
Yeah, look, again, we keep saying it. They're missing a few in America and all that. Rathnure still have, I think, 3 of the best forwards in the county. I think Jack Redmond, Sean O'Connor, I think he's exceptional. I'm after seeing him a few times now in the league, and he's an exceptional player. And of course, Shane Lawler always turns it on in the championship. So I think they still have 3 very, very good forwards that could win a match. Again, like what they said, will the injuries, suspensions, everything impact on them? Maybe so, but no better team to turn up in the championship than Rathnure.
And Ferns had an awful lot of lads involved in the county panel this year.
Yeah, you go through the Ferns panel, they've 7 lads on the Wexford senior panel. They've the likes of Tommy Dwyer, Ian Byrne and James Tonks, who have already played senior intercounty. So the numbers are good for Ferns as well. And yeah, Niall Murphy, full back, is a very, very good player,
And yeah, we've had a bit of a debate there, but we haven't mentioned much about Oilgate. They're newly up into senior. What way do you think they might go?
Well, I think Oilgate, back 3 or 4 weeks ago, you were telling me they were flying. So it's because we haven't, or before the championship, it's hard to know. But on paper, Oilgate have a really strong team. They're strong forwards. They've Shane Reck to man mark somebody like a Rory O'Connor or Lee Chin or somebody like that, and they've Damien Reck to do the hurling then. So, Oilgate and Ferns, I think, is a vital game for both them teams. To me, them are teams that if they got going, they could be threats. On the other side, if they got bet, the teams that tended not to do well when they went, Oilgate had a really good, got to the semi-final and then got relegated. So I think that's a big game. I think that's probably the biggest game of the championship for them two in particular, because they need to win, because it's such a hard group to get through. You couldn't really pick either game, any game who's going to win any. So it's like Ed said with Rathnure are missing a lot of fellas too. They have strong forward line. I'd be worried about them leaking in the backs. But they're missing so many as well. So many lads out injured and so many lads away. So
And if we were to look at the Wexford inter-county performances this year, you couldn't begrudge Damien Reck if he was nominated for an All-Star. And another thing, we have a new goalkeeper possibly for Aldgate as well, Ed.
Yeah, first on Damien Reck, what a year he's had. Like from the Welsh Cup up to the end of the championship, he was outstanding. Himself and Matthew Hanlon will be my two players of the year for Wexford, you know. But you're on about the new goalkeeper, Aaron Duggan. I actually saw Aaron Duggan, I'd say this is a record, Peter, in Callan 3 years ago. He saved 3 penalties from TJ Reid. So he comes with a huge pedigree, you know, and I saw him against Harriers this year, and he's very good at frees, long range frees, puck outs are exceptions. So he's a big plus for Aldgate. You know.
So while we're still on you, Ed, who's going to make it out of this group?
Yeah, look, it's a toss of a coin. There's 6 teams, there's not a puck of a ball between them, you know. We'll just get back to the county champions, the Raps. I think the Raps are actually in a better place this year. They have a few players back. They have Dara Pepper. Now when you've Dara Pepper, that gives you the option of playing Oisin Pepper out the field. That brings a whole new dimension to the Rapparees, you know. And people will say about the sweeper, I'd say they create a record that there's 6 backs scored from play in the championship last year. So the sweeper is helping them, the players like Liam Ryan, to bomb forward and all that. So, and sure, you know, they have Kevin Courtney back and Richie Farrell. A young lad I'd just like to mention, Jack Byrne, he's only 18 years of age. He has impressed me greatly in the few league matches and practice matches I've seen. I think he's going to be a big player for the Raps going forward.
And who's going to make it out of the group, Des?
I'll go with the Martins, the Shells, and the Raps, and I'm really unsure. I could be any of the you know, it could be anybody else.
I think Des is right.
Yeah.
Whoever wins the Aldgate Ferns match is sort of, whoever loses it is going to be under pressure. So you just don't know.
I'll go with Aldgate, just if they beat Ferns, but I'm not sure. And that's completely ruling out Radnor, which I'm not sure on either. So I'll go with the 4 of them.
Right, so we're very unsure here. I suppose it is an indication. We've seen a lot of different winners and a lot of different teams really competing well in the Pettitt Senior Hurling Championship over the last few years. It's not been dominated by 1 or 2 teams as it maybe has been in the past, which is obviously a good thing to see. And we look forward now to the next 7 or 8 weeks of hopefully very entertaining action, and hopefully that you'll pick up a lot of the games on Wexford GA TV and make it to the venues and to get out and support the teams in person as well.